The schools have begun, and again, the parents have started complaining. Why is it that my teenager can't get off his electronic devices? And why are they using the internet to play silly games, rather than using it as a treasure house of free knowledge? Such stereotype questions are pretty common in every household. But do we have an answer? Hello everyone, welcome back to Books.com Lit Gyan with me Subhashini. Today, let's talk about CG versus CG, meaning current generation versus current gadgets, and know the reasons behind their addiction to gadgets from the book Indistractable by Nir Eyal. If you look back, throughout human history, access to knowledge was very limited and power was equated to how much information a person had access to. Today, however, we are drowning in information. There are more books to read, blogs to follow, podcasts to listen, and videos to watch than anyone could imagine in their lifetimes. You would agree if I say we have incredible opportunity to learn nearly anything with a few taps or clicks. It's a part of human nature to imitate, copy, and then create to show progression. Our kids are doing the same. When kids act in ways we don't like, as parents we desperately ask, why is my kid acting this way? We often cling to simple answers because we don't want to delve deep and find complex truth behind why our kids behave the way they do. Moreover, we don't have time to do so, as we too are distracted. We want to believe that kids do strange things because of something outside our control, which means that those behaviors are not really there or our fault, says Eyal. Of course, technology plays a role. Smartphone apps and video games are designed to be engaging, just as sugar is meant to be delicious. Like the parents who blame a sugar high for their kids' bad behavior, blaming devices is a surface level answer to a deep question. But we can't fix the problem unless we look at it clearly, free of any media hyped myths, and understand the root causes. Richard Ryan and his colleague Edward Deci are the two most cited researchers on human behavior, who the author quotes throughout the book. According to them, just as the human body requires 3 macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fat, to run properly, the human psyche needs 3 things to flourish: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. When the body starves, it elicits hunger pangs. When the psyche is undernourished, it produces anxiety, restlessness, and other symptoms to indicate that something is missing. When kids lack psychological nutrients, they might overdo unhealthy behaviors like excessive video games or browsing social media. Unlike their offline lives, kids have tremendous amount of freedom online. They have the autonomy to call the shots and experiment with creative strategies to solve problems. In internet spaces, there tends to be myriad choices and opportunities and a lot less adult control and surveillance. One can thus feel freedom, competence, and connection online, especially when the kid's environment at home is overly controlling or restrictive. Parents often impose more rules, and that tends to backfire. Instead of finding more ways to limit kids' autonomy, Ryan advises to understand the underlying needs and mental triggers driving them to digital distraction. Secondly, kids are so different, and their development rates are also variable. However, by design, standardized tests in schools don't account for these differences. If a child isn't doing well in school and doesn't get the necessary individualized support, they start to believe that achieving competence is impossible, so they stop trying. Companies making games, apps, and other potential distractions are happy to fill this void by selling ready-made solutions for the psychological nutrients kids lack. Tech makers know how much consumers, mostly kids in this case, enjoy leveling up, gaining more followers, and getting likes. These accomplishments provide their fast feedback of achievement that feels good and gives them instant gratification. So, think when the child spends its time in school doing something it doesn't enjoy, doesn't value, and doesn't see potential for improvement, then it should be no surprise to us that at home it would rather turn to an activity where it can feel a lot of competence, says Ryan. Spending time with peers has always been a formative part of growing up. For kids, much of the opportunity to develop social skills centers around chances to play with others. In today's world, children get to interact mostly in virtual environments. The very nature of play is rapidly changing. In previous generations, children were allowed to simply play after school and form close social bonds. You too would have enjoyed such days. But today, as parents, what do? Restrict our children from outdoor play because of child predators, road traffic, and bullies, so spontaneous socializing isn't happening as it used to happen. Unfortunately, this again leaves kids with no choice but to stay indoors, attend structured programs, or rely on technology to find and connect with others. In many ways, connections in digital environments can be very positive. For instance, a kid who feels shy at school can be a hero among his gaming friends from all corners of the world, or a teenager struggling with their sexuality can find support from someone on the other side of the country. All of us want to be a part of a bigger group and be recognized. That's the reason kids feeling isolated or excluded in school are drawn towards media, where they get connections with other people. When considering the state of modern childhood, Ryan believes many kids aren't getting enough of the three essential psychological nutrients, that is, autonomy, competence, and relatedness in their offline lives. And no wonder they go looking for substitutes online. Ryan's research leads him to believe that overuse of technology is a symptom, indicative of some emptiness in other areas of life like school and home. When these three needs are met, not only kids, we too are more motivated, perform better, persist longer, and exhibit greater creativity. Conscious parents can bring back playtime for kids of all ages by deliberately making time for it in their weekly schedules, and seek out other parents who understand the importance of unstructured play and schedule regular get-togethers to let the kids hang out in a nearby park. In addition to helping kids making time for unstructured play, we also need to carve time for them to spend time with us, the parents and family. We can't solve all our kids' troubles, nor should we attempt to, but we can always try to better understand their struggles through the lens of their psychological needs. Knowing what's really driving their overuse of technology is the first step. Once our kids feel understood, they can begin planning how best to spend their time. As parents or guardians, we can take steps to help kids find balance between their online and offline worlds by providing more offline opportunities to find autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Let's teach them methods for handling distraction, and most important, be a model by being indistractable ourselves. Instead of giving our kids a fully functional pinging and dinging smartphone, it's better to start with a feature phone that only makes calls and sends text messages. Many parents may want to know if there is a correct amount of time kids should be allowed to spend on their screens, but no such absolute number exists. There are too many factors at play, including the child's specific needs, what the child is doing online, and the activities that the screen time is replacing, etc. The most important thing is to involve the child in the conversation and help them set their own rules. When we impose limits without the kids' input, we are setting them to be resentful and stimulating them to cheat the system. Working with our kids to create a value-based schedule can help them make time for their personal health and wellness domain, ensuring ample time for rest, hygiene, exercise, and proper nourishment. If we want our kids to fulfill their need for relatedness offline, they need time to build face-to-face friendship outside school. These relationships should be free from the pressure of coaches, teachers, and ourselves telling them what to do. Giving them more time for free play may help them find the connections they otherwise look for online. We must consider providing real-world opportunities for children to find the autonomy, competence, and relatedness they need. Hope this excerpt intrigued you. You are listening to merely a chapter on how to raise indistractable children in an increasingly distracting world from the book Indistractable. This book focuses on the reduction of distractions that is mainly caused by the use of technology and gadgets, provides practical techniques to control your time and attention, helping you to live the life you really want. Apart from this chapter, it has chapters dealing with distractions from within, reimagining internal triggers, hacking back external triggers, workplace distractions, having indistractable relationships, etc. Eyal reveals hidden psychology driving us to distraction. He also describes why solving the problem is not simple and how abstinence is impractical as it often makes us want more. Instead, he offers suggestions like only answer emails at the scheduled time, turn off desktop notifications, and tell colleagues you are not free between X and Y time. Eyal lays bare the secret of finally doing what you say you will do with 4-step research-backed model. Indistractable reveals the key to getting the best out of technology without letting it get the best of us. What I liked about this book is that Eyal admitted to falling victim to this time-stealing technology monster himself and shares here the solutions that helped him to overcome it. Being interested in psychology, I particularly appreciated the parts in which he described the psychology behind the forming of habits, how to break them, and how just being free of them will impact our lives for the better. He discusses how to implement the solutions, make use of them in everyday life. And I found the book to be extensively researched with case studies throughout to illustrate some of the points he makes. He also places bullet point summaries at the end of each chapter to remind us of key points. I found myself conflicted by the writing style of this book. While the simple, straightforward and to-the-point approach made the content easily digestible and quick to read, it gave me the feeling of being very informal, like a webinar or a collection of PowerPoint slides. However, I will say one benefit of this writing style is it did make the tips easy to remember, even if the ideas, suggestions or action items weren't necessarily novel concepts. Eyal's Indistractable is an optimistic, helpful and comprehensive guide that should be on the reading list of all those who find themselves distracted more often. Overall, it offers a refreshingly different approach to time management than other books on the subject. If you are a teacher or a parent of school-going kids, or if you simply wish to be indistractable, then read this book. And don't forget to follow Books.com for more engaging and captivating reviews. You know where to find me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube to share your comments. You can write to me at BooksDotCom-Insightful@gmail.com. Thank you for staying tuned till the end. See you on the next episode of Books.com. Till then, sayonara.